Okay, we're gonna try this again. I'm Mary.
And I'm Alex.
Today we are taking this problem straight into your daily life. We look at all the people who are placed under the possibility of the death penalty.
You have to think of the situation that they're put under.
We are changing that.
And let me break it down for you this way. The reason that I say that is, in my mind, it's a question of what is gained versus what is lost or potentially lost, right?
In the very least, we are not complying to the fact that the government is using this so-called bad behavior. Disclosing all of the information that the public is unaware of.
Ready? Welcome back. Hi guys.
This week, we are really going to dig deep into the problems that the government is doing to interfere with this capital punishment.
This results in one last reason to why citizens should no longer put up with this capital punishment.
That is without the reforms that we are planning to push for.
Mr. Pieter also testified that of the 4 geographic regions in the United States, the South, which carries out 80% of all executions in the country, has the highest murder rate. Conversely, the Northeast, which implements less than 1% of all executions, has the lowest murder rate in the nation.
While this does also help support our motive pull, this results more in the action the government is taking when they apply this punishment.
With all of these executions carrying out, the thought that the government is combing through each individual's reasons and cases grows increasingly smaller.
Along with the innocent that have been executed along the way, as stated in a previous video.
We put that burden on juries who may not fully understand the reasons behind it and who have to be death qualified before they can get on a jury. That means that every person selected to sit on a jury in a death penalty case has to state up front that they can impose the penalty of death after conviction at trial. The jury is already stacked against the defendant before the trial even starts.
Without the skeptical eye we are so attuned to, this capital punishment is yet to take the reforms that we have repeatedly stated would grant all the problems a haven.
But for now, we have to have hope that the government will reverse this tactic and place a new, more advancing method to help free the innocent.
Moving on, we have to take a different approach than the DNA evidence that has been instated to help those who are innocent to be released.
If we rely too heavily upon this basis, then the outcome is only going to result in all the more being placed under the possibility of the death penalty.
We see the government using this as a safety net without considering the full size.
The marginal increase, potentially, in justice that may be achieved by the death penalty. Granted, some justice is already being achieved through life in prison or whatever, but if you buy that more punishment is required, you might get a little bit more punishment. Well, at what cost? Well, at the cost of potentially executing somebody who didn't commit a crime.
Although we cannot directly place this on an individual, the facts still show that those who are placed under DNA evidence are still subject to be placed on the guilty precedents.
The death penalty is irreversible, so it is critical that it be used on the actual killer. Over 140 people have been exonerated and freed from death row, such as on the basis of DNA evidence. It is difficult to know for sure how many innocent people have been executed, but it appears that at least 10 have since 1976.
In whatever ways the DNA evidence is held in court, it still has those who are innocent being executed, and we wanted to find out why.
Prosecuting attorneys who have sole and unfettered discretion to seek the death penalty may do so for reasons other than to serve the ends of justice. I believe that publicity, public pressure, media pressure, the unpopularity of the defendant's race, national origin, and other inappropriate considerations are factors that feed a decision to seek the death penalty. While a prosecutor may never admit it, they are imperfect human beings with their own biases and prejudices. Seeking to take a life should not be in the hands of a single person.
With all these options that lie in the room for the defendant to take,
and to acknowledge all the pressure that is presumed on them,
it is difficult to stand your ground. The question we have been trying to answer is repeal or replace. And our answer is replace because,
while this bill does have multiple scenarios that we should definitely fix, it does hold some value in the community, but it's been loosely restricted over the past years. Once we're able to create new reforms and more restrictions on this bill, it'll create better benefits than what is presented now. Bill, I'm not in a Congress round.
I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh.
Precedence? Do you know what precedence means? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Of divinay.
I want to think through that for a minute. That is so going to the end of the credits.